You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You're a fugly piece of shit. You bring bendy straws to bathrooms 'cause you like the taste of piss, Mr. Grinch. I wouldn't suck your dick if it was dipped in honey and could cure cancer. Also, you have no dick. You're a dipshit, Mr. Grinch. Even babies want you dead. You've never brought home a woman 'cause you're scared you'll wet the bed, Mr. Grinch. The 3 words that best describe you are as follows, and I quote: bitch, dumpster, bitch. You're poor, Mr. Grinch. You can't afford the bus. You're deathly allergic to tree nuts, and your exact address is this, Mr. Grinch. 1482 Mount Crumpet Boulevard, Whoville, Michigan. I mailed your bitch ass a bag of nuts. It's just a dress that you are inbred, Mr. Grinch. You don't know how to read. I cannot stress enough how much you love to suck down pee, Mr. Grinch. According to an anonymous poll with a sample size of over 3,000 Whos who were asked to rank you on a scale from 1 to 100 based on traits such as likability, general odor, and physical attractiveness, the highest number we got was 3.
I love Joel's work.
I know, right? It's so good. What's up, everybody? I hope you had a Merry Christmas. Welcome to a Grody review. Today we're going to be checking out 2 books. I think you know what they are. Today we'll be checking out Battle Brick Road from Eric Weathers, Volume 1. He just finished up the campaign for Battle Brick Road 2, so I thought it'd be a good idea to check out number 1. That way afterwards, if you kind of like it, you can still go to battlebrickroad.com and get issue 2 if you want it. And then for the second book we'll be looking at, I made some notes. We'll be looking at Tricks and Treats Volume 1 from Benjamin Soto of Halloween Head Comics. So, yeah.
We'll try and be nice to this one. We won't give him too much trouble.
Yes, yeah. This is why we need editors in our books, but we're not going to go into that one too heavy. But how was your Christmas, man?
I was uneventful, which can be a good thing.
I look at it as a good thing because mine was had way too much on the plate to be eaten. So that's how mine went. Of course, with kids now, it's all about them and everything. So it was fun, but man, when I got home, I fell right to sleep, went straight to bed.
Santa was tired.
You ain't lying, man. But we got some people in the chat with us right now. We got, of course, D-Wag. We got Admiral Wackass saying Leighton gay. I apologize, man. For some reason, the kid decided to get into the sugar today and was not wanting to go down to sleep. So I gave him the iPad. Hopefully that keeps him, occupied while we do this for about an hour. And then afterwards, you guys can go back to your merry ways and check out what else is going on. Hope you all had an awesome Christmas also. Let us know what kind of things took place for yours down in the chat. Let us know what's going on in the comments. Colonel Zaid's here. D-Wag is inside bread. What the fuck does that mean? Your mic is low as hell, BB. I guess
No, he's
he's
just
talking to
tired. That's
you.
all it is.
Might be. I'll try and crank it up a little bit here. What we got
He
going
needs some of that
on?
sugar.
1 2 1 2 testing. Here we go. But yeah, as soon as Peter, no, it wasn't Peter. It was you who shared that uncensored Grinch song, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I'm always showing you weird shit from the internet.
Yeah, no kidding. And Meat Canyon was one of the worst ones. But Meat
Oh,
Canyon appears to be making a manga of their own now, so we'll have to check that out next time. But anyway, oh yes. In case Jeremy Thevenot shows up, have you read your copy of Beckoned yet?
yeah. The art's really good.
Oh, you're so good. Yeah, pump the jam, pump it up. Whoopsie. Do I sound low to you?
A little bit. You just sound a little tired. But yeah, crank it up a little bit. It ain't going to hurt.
Cranking it up.
We want to
How's
hear
that?
your velvet tones.
Oh yes, I'm sure. I'm sure that's what everybody is wanting to hear right now. But okay. So which one do you want to get into right now? Do you want to get into Battle Brick Road Volume 1, or do you want to get into Tricks and Treats Volume 1 Foist?
Well, I've not heard anything about Battle Brick Road, so show me that one.
Okay. Battle Brick Road. So this is from a well-known in our circuit. His name's Eric Weathers. And Battle Brick Road basically is a redux of, The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
And
it looks good.
I really enjoyed this one. This is one of my favorites in our indie scene right now. And I did not get a chance to back Volume 2 because, money's in the holidays and everything. But the art is phenomenal. This is the cover.
Oh yeah. And it's timely considering, Wicked's out right now.
No.
No. It's a retelling of the same thing.
Nah. But Battle Brick Road, I absolutely enjoyed it. And I also found out something else about it too. I found out that this story, even though it's art is by Eric Weathers and letters are by Eric Weathers, cover by Eric Weathers, it was written by Zeb Hatfield, and that one kind of threw me off because I believe it was just promoted as a totally Eric Weathers book. So that kind of threw me off, and I was like, oh, I don't know if that takes away from the book or it's just still as it is, but it almost disappointed me a little bit. I was like, this is Eric Weathers full blown, but the art is phenomenal. Let me show off one of my favorite pages here real quick.
Nice pun, whack ass.
What do you say?
Will you tell us whether or not to buy it?
Oh my god. Yeah, I'll definitely tell you whether or not to buy it. So ridiculous. But anyway, here's a full-blown page. Here's a full splash. And then, some of the art that's going on right here. But we'll get into it right now real quick. So
oh, yeah.
let me set up my camera for everybody and we'll get right into it.
Who did the art for it?
Eric Weathers did the art himself.
Oh shit. So you did
the
everything.
Credits page actually isn't up front. We have a forward here, but over here on the back of the cover is usually where you see the credits page take place, or at least have a black page and a credits page or a forward credits page. But no, we go straight into what you would call chapter 1, Dust to Dust. And it's really excellent art. I absolutely love it. I just got a 4K camera for Christmas. I haven't unboxed it yet, which probably would have been good to do for this one right here. But you can see it's written by Zeb Hatfield, art by Eric Weathers, colors by Vinicius, I totally butchered that, Townsend, and letters by Eric Weathers. So here we are.
V. Townsend.
Right here at chapter 1, Dust to Dust. We're in a dystopian America, right? For the change up. And where it's claimed humans have kind of either mutated or devolved. We don't really know what happened to the humans. It's just that over time, they're not exactly humans any longer.
Yeah, it looks like the Dust Bowl hit Kansas really hard.
But our protagonist, whose name is Dorothy Gale, and mostly through this book, they're going to call her Thea. So I guess Thea is short for Dorothy. Don't know how you get that, but if Bob can be for Robert, I accept it. But she has a small militia taking her across the sandy dunes to a location that Gale is interested in investigating. And so you see here that she's got the small militia with her and everything. They're going to her coordinates. And then lo and behold, look at that. The flying monkeys attack. And I absolutely love these because they don't look like those little bitch ones from the Oz. These guys actually look threatening here.
I was going to say flying gorillas.
Yeah, flying apes. And you see that mechanical orb right there? That's her beloved Toto.
Okay.
So this little guy is going to be an integral part to helping locate the different locate the different locations, locate the different areas that she needs to go to on her journey. So right out the gate, she's been looking for her father this whole time. It's been 20 years since she's seen him, and he has given coordinates to locate him in the legendary world of Oz, or the world known as Emerald. So that's the city that they have to go to is Emerald.
Okay. So it's not a quest for a woman trying to get some shoes.
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen any red shoes yet. So I'm sure that'll be coming around in issue 2 or something. Let's see what the chat's looking at real quick. One of the better CG books. I totally agree. I absolutely love this one. This one's in my top 5. Zade Studio says Eric's art is great. I initially thought it was going to be gay. Fair enough. The gorillas have jetpacks. The monkeys have wings. Okay, that's what I was wondering, because on the cover, you actually see the gorilla have wings, and then down here the chimp has mechanical wings. It's
because you see
odd.
he's got a tail.
But you also see the chimp here has feathered wings. So it's are we just looking at different variations of how we can give them wings? What's really going on?
Well, maybe they're all mutants.
Yeah. But anyway, they're suddenly ambushed by the flying monkeys. Gale falls from the hatch of her plane, and then we get a flashback of what came before the blanket of sand across the nation. So we're definitely dystopian because they're going across the desert. But then we see here that she falls from the plane here after they were attacked. Toto's going with her, trying to get things taken care of. She sends him off to do a little task of her own to try and help her out later. And then right here is where the flashback starts. So this is actually her father in here, along with Toto in the passenger seat and Dorothy's in the back seat. So you can see that her father, they're trying to stop her father from doing what's needed to be done here. A lightning grenade is let go, so kind of like a EMP or something to stop the androids. I don't know if they're androids or humans in bodysuits, but I treat them as androids.
Do it the G.I. Joe way.
Yeah, right.
Bad guys are always robots.
That's right. Original 87 TMNT. So back here in the back of the seat, he's talking about how you're going to have to do great things and I'm going to miss you. And this is basically where we're going to have to part. And Toto goes out here and takes out the last of the group that's after her. He's actually a little badass. He reminds me of R2-D2 and BB-8 from Star Wars.
Oh, we don't talk about that one.
Oh, Oh, we don't talk about BB-8. Okay, but
No.
okay. So it reminds me of R2D2, and he's got a bit of an attitude. He doesn't really talk, but he gives off these beeps and burps, kind of like R2D2 does also. And it's really funny because sometimes his sound will sound like a yep in like a yerp when a question is asked by one of the humans. It's really funny. But anyway, so a man and his daughter are being chased by the androids. We find out it's Gail and her father. They're running from a threat that we learned Dorothy's father was misled to help create. So Dorothy's father is caught, and Dorothy is left with her AI orb.
The one orb Peter might like.
Yeah, the one orb he might like. I don't even know if he'll like this one. It's really up in the air. But you see right here is where they crashed here, and now they have to go their separate ways. So he's telling her that she's going to have to do great things and search out things that he can no longer do because they're running away. And Toto is going to be her guide and protector throughout the rest of it. Because right here is where he gets picked up by this little baddie. Kind of reminds me of the Court of Owls almost.
Oh yeah, or the redesign they did for Firefly.
Right, exactly. But anyway, he tells her bye and everything, and he separates himself from his daughter and Toto so he can let them get away, and he goes with them.
I don't know, Admiral. That's kind of a tiny hole.
Yeah, right. But I absolutely love this art. It's so good. The way the panels are laid out and the way the action can kind of like come out of the panel to overlay on top of another. I really like how characters and items can come outside the panel to give more emphasis on the action. It's
Oh
one of my
yeah,
favorite things to see.
the paneling looks good and everything looks solid.
Oh yeah, Eric Weathers knows exactly what he's doing when he's making his pages. So we get like a little splash page of her with her mask on that Toto is, of course, taken care of for her. And then here we are back in the present day, so to speak. And this is where chapter 2 takes place. I believe. No, not yet. So anyway, after that little flashback of her being a little girl, we're back at present day. She's finally met her uncle and aunt that her father was trying to send her off to see. And by God, it looks like Nick Fury or Dick Grayson from Batman Beyond comic series. And I absolutely love this little look he's got. He's got like the shaved sides, the short hair slicked back, and then the eye patch over it. It's a really cool look. I really like that for generals. That doesn't mean everybody needs to go out here and do it, but
Take out your eye.
yeah, no kidding. But it is something that I do enjoy seeing. So she's still looking for her father after all this time. And he's like, well, we found him, Thea. Or rather, he found you. The message is short, but, well, just watch. So let me get Africa Toto off of there. Sorry, Zayd. Better monkeys than Beckon's furriedom. Wow. That's crazy. Gorilla meat.
I plead the
They got
fifth.
back wings in that she. They do. Does this guy fuck the orb or not? No. No. not that kind of
We'll
bug.
see. This is only the first
Anyway.
issue.
But anyway, you can see how she's sweating just from the anxiety and the tears rolling down her face. She's like, oh my God, finally, after all this time. Anyway, you can see like with the background, he's kind of like hiding himself and everything because this is just a video. So he doesn't really want to give his location in case the video can be decrypted. So he gives the location within the frequency of the video, and there's the location there. So immediately she's like, gather a crew, I'm going to go after my dad. And then Dick Grayson is like, I don't think you're going to do that. And she's like, well, I'm going to do it with you or not. So make your choice. It's like, all right, I've got the
Does it show the rest of the characters that you would imagine would be in like a Wizard of Oz?
they oddly enough don't come in until like at the end of the book. which is fine because that gives more growth for the world and character development and everything like this. So this book really reminds me of, it's like a mashup of The Wizard of Oz and Laura Croft Tomb Raider in my eyes, because it reminds me of Laura Croft always going out and trying to find her father because he disappeared in a couple of the storylines for Laura Croft, and she has to go find him while also unveiling these ancient relics and powers that take place. So it's very much, along those lines, and I don't knock it, but it's just something that it reminded me of. It's well written. It really is. Like, I didn't have any questions of what was taking place. It wasn't like, what the fuck is going on here? Is this misspelled or anything like that? Nothing like that takes place. It's all perfect. This is a perfect book.
Okay.
So chapter 2, we are going through Eastwich now. So she's got
Oh,
the
that's dope.
team. She's heading out. Of course,
That picture
this
on the
is
left right there is really good.
Yeah, this cover right here.
Is that kind of showing us some of the characters that we're going to be seeing later on?
Yeah, so right here you're seeing the Scarecrow and you're seeing the Tin Man.
I almost thought it was a Tin Woman at first.
Right? But this face mask you see here, it's going to show up later in the book, but not on this person. So it makes me wonder what's really going on. But anyway, from the dystopian place, they shot out of the airplane at the beginning of the book, right? And then we had those flashbacks. Well, this is where the pod ended up, her escape pod, with when those monkeys attacked. And now we're out of the dust storm and we're into a nice foliage, a nice little forest here. What's this say? It's like Lone Survivor, but with a gay road. He has those robot dog legs or something. Good Lord. But anyway, so she goes out here into the forest and she runs into this guy, and immediately his actions are different from his words, because it looks like he's about to attack with a hatchet or with an axe, but he's saying, "Help me." So something's going on with these masks here that you find out later on. Of course, Toto up there, he like tasers the dude so they can get away. Then you see a bunch of more other people coming out with the same metal mask around their faces, so they're being controlled somehow. And this is the only panel that made me question, like, was this a typo? Was this a misread on Eric's part? Because right there you see, thanks for visiting, it looks like Eastwick, right? Population 1. But chapter 2 is called Eastwich. So I'm wondering if it's just that we're saying that time has passed so much that we changed Eastwick to Eastwich, or if it was actually a mess up on Eric's part. But I'm not gonna totally say that's 100% what it was. So.
It's a very Fallout thing where it's like signs kind of like start to fall apart and they start making new names out of the places.
Right. So we see that Dorothy has finally come up on this little town here called Eastwich, and she's like, "Oh my God, I got away from those people. Good. There's more people here. I need to interact with some of them." And then lo and behold, they all have the face mask. So they're all being controlled. And then these two fuckers out of nowhere just show up and like, "Hey, my name's Bach and this is Lacrosse or something. What? Lacosta?" I don't know how they came up with these names, but okay, I accept it. And they're like, "Hey, we'll take these guys out with you." And then, "Who are you?" "Oh, I'm Dorothy Gale. I'm looking for the Battle Brick Road or the Yellow Brick Road." And they're like, "That's a legend. It doesn't exist. But let's take out all these people with the masks on them and all this stuff." But lo and behold, they all kind of like chase her into this old church right here, or the town hall. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it looks like a town hall.
And it looks like more of them are waiting, and then the master appears. So
And the master is hot. Oh no.
All right. But look at this, looks like one of those glass windows in like an old Catholic church or
Yeah,
something.
stained glass.
Yeah, just this right here, because it only appears like right here and then over here. So I'm wondering if she's like talking to him through it or like around it, just to let that be the focus of the
I like the
panel.
I like the artwork on it, but every time I see stained glass, is it just me or does it feel like watercolor does better with like stained glass?
Watercolor does better with stained glass, no doubt. Yeah, they should have got Ben Soto to give him some watercolor stains. little little bit of input there for you, Ben Soto. Work with Eric Weathers. But you can see that this watcher, as they're referred to instead of witches, this is this is a female android who's controlling all of these characters with the masks on them. So they do her bidding against their will, and they still feel pain. Their brains still act and think as if they want to resist or have their own thought process, but she controls their actions. It's really a sick, twisted way for you to control people, you know? Like they see what they're doing, but they can't hold back. It's dark.
Okay. We got a Silver Surfer in a way over there.
I was thinking female Brainiac.
The tentacles.
Yeah. But let's see. Mobig says it's an interesting contrast. One guy with a very quiet mic and another guy with a very loud mic. Who's who in that one, Mobigs? Do I need to speak up some more? Because I'm like right against the mic. If you don't keep them thinking, what's the point? I thought free will was the basic point of, you know, your thought process, but
It's kind of like, you ever heard of
teach
an
their
old
own.
story called I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream?
Right. Yeah, kind of like Thunderbolt and what do you call it? Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. But anyway, she comes across the wicked watcher of the West, and you know, so this isn't, you know, the Wicked Witch of the East. This is the West. Or is this? Are we in Eastwick? Yeah, we're in
Yeah,
Eastwick, so
East.
it's not the West yet. So I
This
can
is the one I
already
think they're supposed
kind
to
of
drop a
tell.
house on.
Yeah. So she's over here. She's getting her ass kicked and everything. The bullets aren't doing anything. So Toto goes out and she's like, do it now. And so the watcher looks up at the ceiling, and it's not a house that's dropped on her, but it's the fucking pod from earlier. So they kill the watcher by dropping a pod on it. I thought that was really well done. I thought that was a cool callback. I was wondering how they were going to do that.
And they even kind of foreshadowed at it earlier, so that was good. But what are we taking from her? Her
He
legs?
says, I'm the quiet one. God damn. How am I the quiet one? I got my mic all the way up.
You got to put it in your mouth like I do.
I don't want to do that.
There we go.
Yeah, now I'm really up on it. Holy shit. But anyway, so they celebrate and everything after the defeat of the Wicked Watcher. And they're celebrating. So these guys are like, who are you? What are you looking for? She's like, I'm looking for the yellow brick road. He's like, holy shit, that's not what's taking place. That thing's a legend. There's no way you can find it. And she's like, well, actually, my father gave me coordinates and everything. And now Toto's going to do this little scan thing into this one octagon on this monolith that we just found in this city. And magically, due to that, now the yellow brick road starts appearing below them. So they found the yellow brick road, and the yellow brick road is supposed to lead them to the Great Wizard in a place known as Emerald. So you still got a lot of the callbacks, a lot of the classic plot points that drive the Wizard of Oz, but they do it in such a unique way that if it's definitely a fresh take. I absolutely love this. But anyway, so the two people head out with her. They get a little band of heroes to go and everything, and
It's
it
like they
does
said
not
earlier, you
last
got to keep
long.
you on your toes.
Yeah, it doesn't last long for them to go into the cornfield, and then they get attacked by some six-legged tigers. So the six-legged tigers come out, kill everybody but Dorothy, of course.
And we
And
get
then
some gore in here.
right before Dorothy is slain, who comes out with a sickle? The one and only Scarecrow.
So how do you think about his design?
I love that design. It's very Scarecrow and Red Hood.
I can see where he's going Scarecrow, but I'm kind of curious as to what exactly, because animated straw man.
Yeah.
What are we getting? Is he looking for his brain?
No, I have no idea what the motive is yet. But he just says move now because, we don't want to be sitting ducks. So, a real quick intro of, hey, I just saved your life. Not really what are your motives, what's going on, where are we going? Just let's move now. And since you're the last survivor, I'm going to tag along because I'm lonely. And that's the end of Battle Brick Road issue 1.
All right.
But
Kind of
yeah,
set
I
everything up.
absolutely.
So yeah, it was like you were saying earlier. It was like instead of just dropping all four characters on top of you in the very beginning, it gave you time to go with Dorothy. So yeah, this does look interesting. I like the artwork so far on this. It's very good.
Oh, I love it. Eric's art is phenomenal. Of course, his colors did great work. I love the pinks to the oranges, and then it has a great contrast on every page. I'm really impressed with it. And then, of course, in the back here, you have this little short story of what took place when Dorothy was a child and her father left her behind to see how she got to her uncle, the general. But I'm not going to go through that. But the art is from 6 a.m. Comics for that story. And
Did you
I
have any?
really
I
do.
was going to say, did you have any issues with it that you can think of?
This one, no, I did not. I didn't have any issues with it. I loved it.
How do you feel
Um,
about when you're opening it up and that first page on that left is just white, just clear?
See, for that, they could have either put the forward over here or the credits page because the credit page is randomly all the way back here after the end of the story. And that's not usually where I would find it. You would find the credits page with the copyright print down here at the bottom, right here at the very front of the book, which is I would say that's where that goes. And
I mean, I
then
know it sounds like a nitpick, but
it is a nitpick. But and then after that, you would put that cover right there, Meet in St. Louis. You would put that cover on this page. That way you could just flip instantly into the story. Because I hate that kind of breakup. I always feel like it should always be cover, credit, page one, flip. You're in the book. But that's just me nitpicking it. And then of course you got the line art for the cover for number 2 right there.
all right, yeah, that's nice.
Okay.
The only other
And
thing I
that's
can
Battle
think
Brick
of
Road 1.
was the one page where it's Dorothy when she was a kid and she's walking. We got the sand,
Yeah.
and it's good, but it feels empty as well. And I understand that's kind of the point, but
Mm.
I mean, we need maybe more dust clouds, something else going on, because it's like you have a whole left side, it's just dust.
Yeah, it felt more like a breakup from the story, like you would do with like a prologue or an epilogue page or something like that. Something to break it up because it felt like that arc ended and we were about to go into the second arc, not just by chapter. So yeah, there was a lot left there. Hang on one second, I got a baby crying.
Oh no, they're leaving me with them. Stuck with a chat. How are y'all doing today? You guys have a good Christmas. How did you all feel about the book? Damn you, Peter, you piece of shit.
There we go. All right, my bad. Leave the blank for a remark. Yeah, you could do that. I also hate when it's all sandy personally. What up with Beckoned, Grody? Yeah, what'd you think of Beckoned, Grody?
I thought the art was good.
The art was good. You got nothing to say about the video game or anything?
I think the art was good. Oh, I do have something I want to say, though.
Okay.
Screw you guys calling me that slur. I am not a game journo. I am a gamer.
Yeah, I saw that being tossed around when we did the review for Beckoned, and I was like, what the hell are they talking about? And he took great offense to that.
Dare you? I couldn't even sleep. Kept thinking about it.
Guest journalist. Oh, man. I feel the tension up in here.
I'm gonna go cry.
All right. So I'm not going to get into all the stories of this one. There are 7 short stories in here, broken up between 120 pages. So I'm just going to do about 3 or maybe 4 of them, and just tell you what I like about them and what might have missed the mark here or there. Because throughout this book, I did not see the word editor anywhere. So, and in a few of the pages, it would have helped had they had one. But yeah, so let's get right into this one. Let me set up my camera one more time, and we'll get into this one because I don't want to keep anybody too long. But anyway, Tricks and Treats. And I do like that cover. And you can tell that we're going to be dealing with a lot of cryptids and Bigfoots and ghosts and those kind of stories. Of course, why
Good old
wouldn't you when it's
classic
from
horror.
Halloween Head Comics? So, you know. This is an anthology of 7 short stories, which were collected from the first 3 issues of an annual horror comic of the same name. So this is just volume 1 of a collection of stories that they had already done, which I kind of like. Instead of having to go out and get every single issue, I can just pick this up and enjoy them. I've noticed that Ben Soto is the writer on 4 of the 7 shorts, along with his brother Justin and a couple others. But Ben and Justin also do most of the art and lettering for these stories. So with that in mind, yeah, let's get into these stories. The first one that's going to be up is called "In the Land of Dagon," and that's going to be by Ben Soto. Yeah, story and art said right there by Ben Soto, and they give a little like forward of what inspired them to write this short story. And you can tell it's got a mixture of like, you know, rugged line art, and then it's got some of the more of the painterly stuff here. And when we spoke to Ben when he was on our channel last week, they do a mix of like line art, pens, pencils, charcoals, and stuff. They really mix up the way they do their art to make it look unique, and I kind of like that. Because up here you can tell in this, what do you call it? In the water. What the hell just happened?
I do kind of like the little like preamble that they do before. It's almost reminds me of like Twilight Zones or anything like that, where you start having the background commentary.
Right. So right here you can tell by the waters that was definitely done with like marker. Just the way that the strokes get heavier at the sides here, get really dark, and then they start getting lighter. You can definitely tell where the strokes take place, and to make it look like sun's beaming or reflecting off
Oh
the
yeah, I was gonna
yacht.
say it makes the sunlight really pop.
Yeah, I really like this. So anyway, we begin on a cruise ship, and everything is peaceful for about 2 seconds when a storm abruptly comes out of nowhere and crashes the party. And the captain notices that things aren't what they seem when a black sun replaces the normal one in the sky. So you can see like a bunch of calamities taking place. The storm's coming down. There's a cyclone, starts whirling around it, and then there's the black sun right there. So, like our last book, we're no longer in Kansas, right?
Yeah.
They go inland to try and get a signal and quickly find it to be unusual with a monolith of hieroglyphics that show fishermen the same size as the whales they hunt, which is really odd. So you can see everybody's getting ready to go off the boat. You can see that they go down the rope ladder, and then they start finding things ashore, right? And then out in the distance, they see a monolith. Let me zoom in right here. Right here at this monolith. And then this is where it starts getting a little crazy. Because they have somebody here that reads the hieroglyphs. And you can see these fishermen. And they are the same size as the whales on the hieroglyphs, which is really strange because you can see how accurate right up here in this panel how they made the smaller fish compared to size of the whale. So pretty good foreshadowing there. Anyway, but you see right here they're standing below the monolith. They're starting to put two and two together, and they're saying, because all around them here you can see shipwrecked boats on this land, because I guess it's low tide, but you see all the cracks and you can see kind of like the heavy shadings of boats around that have kind of landed here and rusted out.
You can always tell it's a horror story when people are like, "Yeah, let's leave the boat."
Yeah,
Oh,
no
never
shit.
mind.
And so it ends right here with them encountering the Goliath-sized creatures from the Black Lagoon. And it ends with them just staring at them because they've already thrown a spear into their yacht. That's where it
The
ends. So
Disney
it's kind
cruise
of a
ship is
short.
gone.
Yeah, it was very short, and I liked it. It was pretty cool. The biggest complaint I have about this one is I don't know the captain's fucking name, and he's like the main guy. So they call him like captain like twice, but you never get a name to go along with him. And I don't know if this is Jen or another girl. There's two other girls on his under his leadership. So I don't know who this is because I don't get a name yet either. It just appears later. So it's, it's a little nitpicky. But
Yeah,
if
I
you just
mean
want to call
that
Captain, I get it.
I can see it though, because it's like I've seen other stories where it's like they do kind of like an anthology series, and if by dropping a name, it allows you to go back and re-reference that name in other stories. Like if you go to like a lighthouse, you might see that guy's name scribbled on a wall.
Yeah. So the second one is called Tree of Life, and this is by Ben's brother Justin Soto. So the story and art are by Justin. Of course, he gives a little bit right there too. Now this one is completely different, which is cool.
Yeah, he
A plane's
changes art
going
styles
down.
for every story.
Huh?
They change art styles a little bit for every story, which is nice,
Oh, you have to keep it
especially
fresh
for
and
an
make it not feel
anthology.
like you just flipping over into the same story at a different junction at that point. But you can see right here, we're very heavy with the painterly art. We're definitely doing a lot of the blacks and silhouettes and stuff like that of people. And what's happening on this page right now is a plane is going down. That's why you see all these bubbles of just panic and trying to give direction of what to do. This dude's hanging off the fucking plane, about to get sucked out. As you can see, all these other bodies have already left. And then we get a scene change to a flashback. So we get the birth of like a flower, and he's explaining how things like evolve and adapt and stuff like that. And over time, from this single tree came life. So they believe that from here, sprouting out, becoming its own tree, and from that tree, the rest of the foliage and life started to come and evolve and separate itself. It's just kind of a unique way of, making it happen. But now, after a year of research, he says he's found it. So the professor, what's his name? Professor Porter, he's explaining how the Tree of Life came to be, and he has there at the bottom, their names are Matthew Allen and Carter Esparza. And so he's asking them to go with him on a trek to find the Tree of Life. And they think it's a bunch of, gobbledygook. They don't believe the story. They think it's, a lost cause. But he's like, well, I've already paid and I'm willing to double my payments. So let's get in the fucking plane and go. So they go, and then we end up right back where we left off after falling out of the plane. Matt's right here. He's half inside a puddle and just panting and gasping. Luckily, his buddy Carter is right there next to him because he has to replace his dislocated shoulder right here.
Considering it's a plane crash, yeah, that's pretty. That's not too bad.
No, that's pretty mild for a plane crash. But I love this art. It's really good.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say that.
The painterly really does well when you get lost in a forest. I really like it.
The slow transition to greens.
Oh yeah. So the professor catches up, and they seem to run into natives of the area. And the three amigos decide to hightail it out of there. So you see all these bodies behind them. That's not just the people that survived. Those are natives of the land chasing them. And you can see these hieroglyphs over here for this story. And he accidentally reads them wrong. The professor does. These guys are just trying to fucking survive. And so you can see here that they're trying to hightail it out of there. They're trying to make sense of what to do. Turns out the natives were actually trying to run away themselves from the area and trying to warn them, because you can see the natives getting sucked up into the trees. So whatever's out there is after all of them. And then you finally see the Ents from the Lord of the Rings. So these
Maybe
are
after like a haircut.
Right. So these are the ones that have come and tried to take the humans and capture them. So anyway, they get caught and they're being led back to where they, basically, hang out and reside. And there's a bunch of them. So they're like, man, I'm sorry. They already believe that they're going to die. They're done. So they're sitting there. They're all apologizing for what happened and everything. And the professor is starting to figure out that it's not the tree of life from the hieroglyphs. He read it backwards. It's the tree of the living. And this tree is
Oh,
made
that's
up
dope.
of all the bodies that those guys have snatched. And they're calling out in pain. Just kill me. The pain. It's too much. Kill me. Somebody, please. So these people have not died and are living, and they are giving life to the creatures that abducted them. I
That's
thought
something you
that
could
was a
say.
really cool
Oh yeah.
twist.
It reminds me of those old paintings of hell, which you could definitely say were like metal as heck.
Yes. Yeah, I absolutely love this. This is great. And the art just complements it to the T. Because I almost, when I was at work and I was reading this, I was like, I don't want to read this book with the lights off because my mind will take those images and triple what's taking place. But you see that they're trying to get out of there now, but they can't. So they're getting ready to be subjugated to the tree of life and give their life force to them. And what's his name? Carter doesn't make it. He's given to the tree and becomes part of it. Now the professor and Matt are the last two at the end of this book here. And Matt's already been possessed in his mind by something, where the professor is actually saved from the guys that found their location from the last known GPS signal. So Matt, in his twisted mind, he decides to walk into the fire that was started by the relief group that came to save him. And he just closes his eyes and looks at the beach. Because when he got his shoulder dislocated, his buddy told him to think of the beach and, popped his arm back in socket. So it
I
was
like
a
the
callback
transition
to
to.
how they deal with pain, is just think of the beach, think of your family being there and stuff like that. So that's what he did as he walked into the fire.
I like the transition from like black and white to full color.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, in death there's life. I don't know if that plays into the whole thing. Like, while they were living, it was all black and white, and now when he dies, he can experience the serenity that he couldn't. I don't know. I might
It
be going too
it
deep
does.
with it.
Well, I mean, it does feel like it's a story that, like, if it had a little more extra to it, like if we found out like the main character here like had like problems with like drugs or something like that, like his life had completely collapsed,
Right.
and this is his way of finding himself, finding peace.
Yeah.
This would, but for what we were seeing, it almost feels like it's a little rushed. But I mean, it's an anthology. They're short stories. Nitpick.
Right. So that was Ben Soto's. And then the third one that we'll look at, because we're coming up on the hour, this one is by Tommy Brownette, or Brownell, my bad. And it's called More Than They Can Chew. So this one was a nice breakup from the painterly art or the watercolors, because you can see it's more defined in facial features and whatnot. But before we go there, a little nitpick that I had at the beginning of this book, or not at the beginning of the book, but at the beginning of Justin's story, is that is a lot of bubbling caption for 2 pages.
I was going to say that absolutely. I'm like, that's a lot of words. I'm not here to
So
read.
yeah, this is the art medium. We get that, but there's just so many bubbles to get out what you're trying to get across. And you don't need that much. Maybe 2 in a panel, skip a panel, 1 in a panel. You're going to get the idea that there's panic and, fear taking place with a falling plane, especially with that shot. That panel right there tells you exactly what's happening.
Oh yeah,
That
especially
bubble.
like he used 2 of them earlier, the sound booms, where it's like all he had to do is just like an ah.
Yeah. But anyway, why are you telling me to brace for impact when I'm already hanging out the fucking plane?
He's
It's
got
just,
that
you know,
iron grip.
placement of the bubbles and making sure that things line up with what's being shown in the panel. Like right here, people are already flying out of the plane. It says get to the chutes. Little fucking late for that order. But up here, then you get all. You don't need this much of caption boxes when you want your art to explain what's happening. Like we see the growth of the plant, we know what's happening. Just give us the boxes that only explain how you're trying to extend it to the tree of life. We don't need a bunch of jargon. Just, but because when you back out, that is a lot just for that.
A little more show, a little less
Especially
tell.
when that whole box takes up most of the panel there. But anyway, who am I? Anyway, on to Tommy Brownell. More than they can chew. So a bunch of buddies are about to go to a friend's house, and this deer is in front of their car. Well, lo and behold, the woman hits it because she's driving. And that wasn't sexist. That was just accurate.
Sure.
So they get out, they check out the deer, and they find out that it's just a decoy deer like you would use for hunting to bring out other deer into the area. And they're like, why the fuck would there be a deer like that out in the middle of the road? Who would plant that there? And then shunk, arrow right in the neck of the black guy. Black guy is the first one down.
Typical horror trope.
Typical horror trope. So accurate to how Hollywood treats it. So yeah. Black Hawk down. And he's like, oh my God, my brother, no. But he doesn't say it how you would actually react. He's like, Bart, hey, gotta get you home to mom and dad. That's not what I would be saying to him right there.
Yeah, a
Like,
lot more
oh my
expletives.
Bart,
A lot more expletives.
what the
Oh,
fuck?
shit!
Don't die, man. Don't die. Hang on. Not, dude, we're about to mom's house. Hang on. Don't die
yet.
But anyway, he's still crying over there. They're looking around like, why the fuck would this happen? What's going on? And then shunk, an axe just hits the hood of the car. Like, where'd that come from? What the hell? And they're looking around like, man, hey, Mallory, we need to go. Something's coming. Yeah, no shit. So why he's just standing there? And then lo and behold, some kind of Cthulhu-looking monster comes. And they're like, oh my God, Bucket, scram. So they all start going through their separate ways of the forest.
Of course, split up.
Separating is the best thing to do in a horror book or movie.
Jinkies, I lost my glasses.
Yep, that's exactly right. So anyway,
where's the
before
dog?
them going their separate ways, they actually run into 4 different issues, which is really cool. So Bat Nasty Velma runs into the Cthulhu.
And more like a Yeti or a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Did he dye his beard?
And then his brother that survived. Could be blood from his last meal. Who knows?
Let's hope so. It's not a change in lifestyle.
Yeah. And then the brother that survived, runs into his own problem. And the form
I'd like that problem better.
Oh, do you?
Maybe.
You like that problem better? Yeah, I think you take the bear over the beast. Yeah, that's just grotesque. Anyway, you can see the arrows are on her, so she's the one that shot the brother. And he's shocked and everything. And then old Heathcliff here is the one with the battle axe going after people. That's his sister there that the surviving brother ran into.
Sister/girlfriend.
Yeah. So, the brother is no longer alive. Both brothers are now dead. So now it's just the white people alive. Oh, and the native boy. My bad. So, white girl runs into Bones, and then there's Granny saying pretty. Just I hate it when old people look evil and have a grotesque tongue hanging out, because I was one of those
I
kids
thought you were
growing
gonna
up that
stop.
never liked his grandmother kissing him at Christmas. So this just freaked me out all the more.
Did your grandmother used to say have a long ass tongue?
No, but
It's
just
like,
like
no, grandma, don't kiss me.
no,
Good
just the
God,
like wrinkly skin and stuff like that. I
I don't
couldn't
want
get
the tongue
into it.
again.
No. But you can see here, the native, it's like he kind of figures out what's going on. And so he comes upon this nasty looking bitch that's just hanging out on the porch because the other ones out there are her kids. So she's just having a back and forth with the native kid. And then that old nasty thing's licking the girl. And you can it's just a whole bunch of nasty. So she's sitting there and he's acting all calm and collected because he's not afraid because he knows what he's dealing with because his grandfather explained to him what is like out there in the forest. So there comes the Cthulhu that has basically made like a blood oath with the native to like kill these creatures. So the one that was licking the girl gets her neck snapped, and he's smiling about it because he likes what he's doing. Goes after the archer and the hatcher, basically. And he's just standing there calm and collected because he's like, I don't give a fuck. I know what's going on. I'm cool. Yeah, shut your fool mouth. Your friends best not have hurt one of my babies. Too late. Kind of getting owned out there by Bigfoot. Anyway, when he starts telling her what he's done, she starts to get angry because here comes Bigfoot at one of her sons, the ones with the battle with the axe, makes quick work of him. And he's just standing there like explaining, yeah, my grandpa taught me to confront evil, never run from it. Fear gives it power. And she's like, are you calling me an it? Yeah, kind of, sort of. So she starts like, I don't know, mutating
Morphing.
into the actual Cthulhu that she is. And he's just standing there like, what about it, cuz? Come at me. So just when she's about to attack him because he's acting way too cool for this, she's like, oh no. There's a Cthulhu with the head of her son and the axe in her hand. So she attacks the Yeti. And somebody pulled out a piece. Oh no, that's the hatchet. Okay.
I was gonna say, damn,
Yeah.
he's strapped.
Whoops.
Where was he
Yeah.
keeping that?
So they basically have a bond with the Yetis, I guess, because they're just sitting there talking chill like they've done this before. They're talking in his native tongue. And now, finally, the three that survived are sitting there with the cop, and they're trying to explain to him what took place with, the Bigfoot and the monsters. And the cops are just like, this is the most asinine story I have ever heard anybody say. And then out in the distance, you can see the shadow of the Bigfoot waving at the kids. And that's the end of that story. And this,
For a horror comic, how did you feel about that one?
for that one, it felt more like a comedy slasher.
I was going to say, because it's like when you start going into like horror and things like that, one of the things I was kind of expecting more, especially with like, your cannibal kind of thing, is you want more gore.
Yeah,
Like you
I
just
can
got
see
like
that.
2 or 3 people killed, and it's like really not a lot was shown too much.
Right. See, when it comes to horror stuff, my personal preference is don't show me the gore. Pan off into like blackness, and then just make the sounds take place. because that's going to get my brain riled up even more to like figure out and put in my own images of how grotesque or gory something could be. So
Because
I
you
don't
could
need it shown to me. You can pan off to like the side and just have like blood splat on the wall or on a picture of somebody, and just let me hear the sounds that's taking place off screen, and that gets my blood boiling and my anxiety going a little bit more. I don't need to be shown because my other senses with a movie take place. And even in a medium like a comic book, silhouettes of stuff happening or of creatures and stuff always work better nowadays than showing the actual creature, because the creature nowadays basically rip-offs of everything that you've already seen, in
yeah,
my
but I
humble
mean, like,
opinion.
I'm thinking, like, okay, the least that I could have seen is like what happens to the bodies after they're taken by the family. So you have the other guy, right? He goes
Mm,
and he sees the main matriarch.
yeah.
So he's in their camp, like having like bodies hanging on hooks or something, kind of like showing us what these things are doing with them, other than just killing them.
Oh, kind of like in uh
Heels
the
have
Tree of Life,
eyes,
the Tree of Life
or yeah,
story.
or the heels of yeah, exactly, like they did earlier.
Yeah, that right there, I did not expect that kind of twist. So kudos to Justin for that one. Yeah, that one really hit me differently because I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, and the unexpected like twist of that just makes the knife wrench a little bit more at you.
Because like watching, reading it, and then seeing the pictures and stuff like that, I kind of got the hint towards the end that these might be just skinwalkers. Like they're
Uh-huh.
not even human to begin with. Which I mean, obviously the grandmother and things like that weren't, but like the other two could have been.
Yeah, I
But
get you.
showing them like skinning them, taking their skin, wearing that kind of stuff, showing like, hey, this is how we keep our bodies going.
Yeah, these are more of like just scary events that take place instead of just like scary images. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in this one, I also read this one. I read the unknown incident at Kecksburg. So it reminds me of a story that I've heard of before, where a retired um, tel- telepathic um, is called once again by like the Men in Black to come in, and in that story, they have a Yeti behind glass, and they need him to communicate with it uh, by mind tethering and trying to figure out like what they want, why are they here, and everything like that.
Was that in the same book?
Yeah, it was a different story.
So it's like we have two stories of Yetis.
You got two stories with Yetis. You've got, yeah, you got a couple with Cthulhu's. But yeah, the stories, those two stories that have the Yetis are different enough to where they don't coincide. It's just a different take on how to use the monster. Because in the incidents that took place at, what was it, Crumpet? I know that's the Grinch, but anyway, so the
In a bag of
retired,
nuts.
yeah, the retired telepath comes in, does a mind tethering with a Yeti there, and uh, through mind tethering with the Yeti, finds out that there's gray walkers, or the small grays also, and he's like, well, why are you and the small grays working together? And he's like, well, nice. What up, Soto? Tree of Life was my favorite story in Volume 1. The Unknown Incident at Kecksburg is one of my favorite that I wrote in the volume. The twist that you gave in The Unknown Incident at Kecksburg was really good. I really enjoyed that one because what happens was he's talking to the Yeti, trying to figure out what happened. And then as you continue to like read how the Yeti is talking about itself, you realize that Yeti, I thought I was reading it different, or that an editor needed to be done, because I thought the little gray had that name that the Yeti referred itself to. Come to find out that the little grays mind tethered and switched minds with the Yeti, so that the little gray would die in its place, because the little gray's bodies aren't made for our atmosphere, but the Yetis can withstand it. So, even though they're small and weak and they're powerful in mind, they took over the Yeti's mind, and now the Yeti can go run rampant with this now powerful mind. So it's got the strength of the Yeti, the telepathic powers of the little gray, and that's where the story ends. I thought that was really well done. That was a pretty good twist.
So now that we got Ben here, anything you want to say? Like any critiques, maybe?
Yeah, there were a couple. I don't know how long he's been here. Again, I love the art and everything.
Oh, yeah, art's great.
The art's great. I can't diss on the art. The art's perfect. Well, but anyway, yeah, in the land of Dagon, you don't tell me the captain's name, man. Like, they refer
He's
to him like twice as captain, but he's like talking to this chick down here, and she's like, "Just admit it, you love this. Give me a name other than captain."
we'll call him Captain Morgan.
We need to call him Captain Morgan. That'd be good. But yeah, the art and everything's really good in it. I really didn't have that much to go.
Did I freeze or did he freeze? Uh-oh. Hey, I'm going to leave and come back in. See if that helps.
What happened? Am I back? That was weird. I have no idea what happened. Crap. I lost him. Shoot. Oh, he's back. I have no idea what happened.
One of us froze. I was like, I got to test it.
Somehow my computer's on airplane mode, it looks like.
All I would say as a complaint on my side is some of the stories I felt like could have gone a little further.
Oh, Benjamin says the characters were not as important as the events, but I understand where you're coming from. Okay. All right, so that's the first one. Another little tidbit that I had for this one. As I said, these are small, and honestly, who the fuck am I? I'm not an editor, but right here, you see this rope going down to like drop something off for them at the end of the ladder rope. Well, up here, it's so close to the ship, but as it goes down, it like goes farther out than where it should be next to the boat. You see what I'm saying? Like, it should line up a little bit back closer to the boat from where it's dropping it, right at the side of the boat. That's just one little fucking nitpicky thing that I am. You can call me an asshole for that one. I don't care. But yeah, just those two things right there out of this book. I mean, out of this short story is all I really had. Pretty sure. Oh. Yeah. Other thing. Yeah, that's all I had on that one.
Yeah, because like the next
Huh?
I was gonna say
What you say?
for like the next story, like the Tree of Life one.
The
Like,
Tree of
did
Life
we
one is really
get
good.
any? It's good, but I would like more backstory on that one character that pretty much is the main one throughout the story. Like,
The
his
professor or
ending at the
Matt?
end, Matt, because the ending
Oh,
shows us with Matt, walking into the fire, having a
yeah.
little more backstory on him, being like maybe his life's gone to shit. Like I was saying earlier, like he's got
Mm-hmm.
like a drug addiction, something that would like kind of give the reader like, oh, okay, this is why he's going this way, other than this like maybe mind control.
Yeah. Yeah, at the end, because let me get to that page. Because as dark as everything is right here, when we get to the end of this story, he kind of like accepts not going back into his world, but staying here and actually being burned alive for serenity. Serenity now. But you see, like it's all murky like this for most of the story. Then right here at the end, when the fire is lit, he like gets some kind of clarity, and he's like, "Well, let's go home. Let's get out." And he's like, "Nah, I am home." And I don't know if that's by like a mind fuck from the tree of life that took him, or if that was his own clarity that he decided to do that. But yeah, it's unclear why it happened, but he accepted it, and I do like the color transition from that to finally having some kind of like really good lighting and color. And he's explaining what it is right now. It's just that my hands are full. Hang on. I think my brother meant to convey that his partner was all that he had to live for, and after seeing him die, he wanted to end. Okay. Something saying that or a caption box for the thought would been all right for that. I think the trauma disassociated him from the events. That is very true. That could have happened. Something like that. You're not gonna a lot happening at once. You see monsters, best friend dies. You think you're in hell already after you see the tree like that. Yeah, I'm sure it's a big
That was a
mind
good
fuck.
picture.
Yes, I absolutely love this. You can tell your brother that this is like probably my favorite page in this book. I absolutely love that. Going from the tree of life saying that it's the tree of the living, that was just some icing on the cake for us right there. It's so good. What was the one after the tree of life that we were talking about? Oh,
More than you can
more than you
chew.
can chew.
Yeah.
That one was okay. It was, you know,
Like I said, for me personally, I would just like to see either more gore from the kill scenes,
right.
or like, because I'm kind of getting to the idea that these might be skinwalkers. And if they are, like, when you're back
Yeah.
in the house, when you're back at the shed or wherever they're hiding out at, you kind of have like glimpses showing you, hey, this is what's happening to your friends.
Yeah.
This is what they do to people.
Yeah, during this little uh back and forth here and more than they can chew, you see the little native kid like holding out some kind of like cloth or little trinket like that would be handed down through his tribe, but it's never really explained. It's just something else like my grandfather knew his stuff, time's running out, blah, blah. Nothing being explained of what that actual trinket is that could have helped out or kept her from actually being able to hurt him until the Yeti appeared and was able to take care of her. I, just little nitpicky things like this. I said at the beginning of reviewing this saying that I see a lot of writers, but I don't see a credit for an editor. And an editor would help out just with those little nitpicks. Like it's not bad. It's just, when you want to be perfect, that would probably help. Like when I first came onto this page, when I came to the story, I was like, that's a whole lot of bubble for only 4 panels. And then that's a lot of caption, especially taking up most of that panel. But you know, it's just little nitpicky things like that. It's still good. I enjoyed the story, so it's a critique sandwich. It's okay. Don't hate me. Please come
It's
back on the show and
good.
hang out
It's
with us.
better than okay.
Yeah, it's better than okay. It's good. And then I was not able to get into the last couple stories like I wanted to, but this is the one that I was talking about that was also by Ben, the unknown incident at Kecksburg. Yeah, this is the one that
Cooksburg.
had yeah, Cucksburg.
I don't want to know this story.
No, but I really enjoyed this one too. Like it had another twist, kind of like his brother Justin's did for the Tree of Life with the gray mind inside the Yeti. I really enjoyed
Oh, that
that.
is a damn good picture right there.
Yeah, that was really good. And you think that this character is the victim until you find out that the Grey Walker switched bodies with it right here in this panel. Well, not that. Yeah, up here. Like the Yeti was like strong, but the minds of the Greys were stronger, so they overtook the bodies and started going out. And then you see like right here when he explains what the Grey did to the Yeti of switching minds. After he's done explaining it to the professor, he switches the mind with the professor. So he's just hopping bodies trying to survive or take over. You're never really explained why or how that happened.
Can never
But it's
trust
a
an
really
alien.
good story. Oh, enhance. I'm being told to enhance. Okay. Enhance. But anyway, you see the Grey right here when when the humans actually first get to see him, instead of the mind tethering explaining what's going on. So they're wanting the professor who has some powers, some telepathic powers, to like read the minds, explain what's going on. You can see that this is where the planet is that they're from. Why are you showing me the planet with Bogfoot? See, editor, Bigfoots. It says Bogfoots. But anyway, so this is the planet that has the Yetis on them, right? And it's being explained life was happy until the little men arrived. The Greys, but you're a Grey. The little men captured us. They demanded, oh, I'm going to say obedience. But you see right here, the little men have strong minds. Little men control Galthna as a youngling. So Galthna is actually the Yeti. And the Yeti had his mind switched with the Grey so they could travel around and adapt more to more atmospheres that the Greys could not. So you see the mind switch taking place here. So the Grey is actually the bad guy and not the Yeti. It's a really cool twist on this one. And then at the end, when he figures that out after he's tethered to the Yeti and the Grey, when he tethers to the Yeti that has the mind of the Grey takes over the professor. And that's the end of the story. I really liked that. That one, that threw me for a loop. I thought that was pretty good. But yeah. That's what? That was 4 of the 7 stories from Tricks and Treats Volume 1. I really enjoyed it. There's a couple nitpicky things that I had, but all in all, Volume 1's really good. I enjoy it. I suggest you guys get it. Actually, the sign up for Volume 2 is on Fund My Comic. So go over there, get the sign up going. Or is the sign up on Indiegogo? it's on one of those platforms. But I highly recommend you getting volume 2, and if you haven't gotten volume 1 yet, get both. There's going to be a catch-up tier. Get them both. And but yeah. So that's Tricks and Treats Volume 1 and Battle Brick Road Volume 1 also. And yeah. Anything else you want to add, guest?
Nah, I was going to say the Battle Brick Road was really good.
Yeah. Nip guest. Yo, Admiral, if you're still here. Yo, Edwin. Oh, yeah. Edwin showed up. What up, dude? Benjamin Soto is on
Fund My
FMC
Comic.
at storefront mode. It's available now. Awesome. You are most welcome, Ben. Don't hate me. And you know, you're always welcome back to hang out on this channel, dude. We're trying to do it to where we do a normal show every other week, and we do the review show every week after those normals. So, you know, something fresh, then something review, something new, something review. That's how we're going to be doing it here. I appreciate you guys all being here. Oh, good. Thank God. I have this undying need to be liked. Oh, man.
Hate could be good, though. Staying in somebody's mind. At least they're thinking about you.
Yeah, right. But let me get me off of here. Let's get back to both of us.
I didn't even know nip was a slur.
Avatar has nipple, not the slur. Oh, shit. But yeah, that was our reviews, man. I appreciate you all for tuning in and checking it out. We'll be back next week. The whole gang will be here again. Of course, it's Christmas week, so everybody's doing their own thing. It's still the holidays, but mine ended yesterday. We got home late. I was like, well, people might want something tonight, so decided to throw this up, and I appreciate guests being with me as always.
Yeah. I was going to say, everybody's a little sluggish after all the turkey and ham.
Bro, my dad made a roast beef, and it took me out.
I got late, so when I showed up, it was just the skeleton of a bird, but I was able to scrape something off of it.
Well, my dad has a friend who made his own distillery, and so there's some homemade moonshine in that back freezer of his.
Oh boy, toilet wine.
No, fucking kerosene. But
I'm glad you can see.
Yeah, you ain't lying, dude.
That would have been
gasoline.
That would have been an interesting stream instead of like an actual blind review.
Oh man, I don't think you don't want me to be slurring that much. That would have been horrible and very irresponsible on my part. Yep. Omer Glitch says, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Back at you, Omer. Ben, thanks for being here. Colonel Zaid, Admiral Wackass. Oh, and Edwin, thanks everybody for coming out. We'll be catching you on the flip side. Peter Orchard will be back on his show Wednesday next week, and I'll be here again Thursday at 8 p.m. Central. We'll see you
So a New Year's stream.